Have we really decreased our value down to ass?
All right, y'all. I got some guests in the building today who's gonna help me sort this thing out. So, Renee, sis, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello.
And my brother Don, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good, chilling in the background.
So tonight, y'all, we're talking about ass. And it seems as though in today's society, when you look on social media or you look at what's happening out in the world, ass seems to be the common thing. Whether that's us celebrating birthdays, whether that's us going to a rodeo down in Houston, it seems like every chance we get, we're literally showing our ass. And whether that's short, revealing clothing, whether that's a celebration where, everybody's got their tongue out and they bent over shaking ass. So what I want y'all to do is share with me what your thoughts are. How do you feel about our culture and how that plays into women literally showing their ass? So Renee, we'll start with you. Ladies first.
Oh, I have many views about this topic, but I'll just try to keep it as simple as possible and say I don't think it's so much that we've dumbed ourselves down to it because if we're honest, it's always existed. You know what I mean? If you think about it, because I have my moments where I'm in my, Gen X mode, and I'm like, I would never. These girls are so ratchet, and then I go back and I think about some of the music we was listening to, some of the videos that maybe not as raunchy, but the messages were still the same. I mean,
Yeah, we was popping ass back in the
let's
day.
take Little Kim for a prime example. I think when she made that hardcore album, I don't even know if she might have been 18, but she had her whole cooch in you know what I mean? That was what we were listening to in high school. The way that I somehow find justification in that is I'm like, even though we had a Little Kim, we also had on the other side, we had the Queen Latifahs, we had the MC Lights, we had the Salt and Peppers, and we had variety, and we also understood that it was entertainment. Whereas the
Mhm.
difference now is I think the younger women, they don't know how to separate the 2. They don't know that there's a time and a place for the twerking and the shaking the booty and showing, you know what I mean, showing it off because it's everywhere all the time. And I wouldn't say that it's a dumbing down, it's just that maybe because if we're being honest, these younger women are products of us, whether we're they mamas, they aunties, they whatever, we try to go away
Mhm.
from where the way that our parents raised us and the things that we try to give them a little bit more freedom, a little bit more voice, a little bit more everything. And it's kind of in some ways backfired on us in how we present ourselves because I think still we knew that there was a time and a place to do that. And so I won't completely bash the culture right now, but I will say I think somewhere we lost some just the ability to know when to set that aside and cuz you have the restaurants in Atlanta and it's a brunch spot and you got girls dancing on tables and twerking and getting mad because the owners are like we gonna kick y'all out if y'all don't stop and everybody's like oh they're just having no there's a time and a place for
Yeah.
that in a
Yeah.
restaurant where people are eating food is not a place for ass and titties to be shaking. I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I
Girl,
also
yes I
think
do. Yes I do.
I also think, and I'm gonna try to drive the point home. I also
Okay,
think
go ahead.
that society and social media will always depict us in the very least desirable, low vibrational image possible for us at all times. Because while yes, you have the Cardi B's, you have the Meg Thee Stallions, you have all of the girls and the hot girls and the city girls and all of that. There's a lot of them, but I don't think they represent the majority of Black women that exist out here, young and old. Der.
Yeah.
But what is shown to us is that this is how Black women are. And I can't probably count on one hand 5 Black women I know that carry themselves in that manner. just personally, but you turn on social media, you would think that we would be able to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just I just think we've gotten away from being able to decipher, to cut off like entertainment and a time and a place, and having just a little bit of class about ourselves, and being caught up in a very I'm gonna go here with it. I think the sexual liberation of women has not really benefited us in the way that it should have. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some things
Oh,
that it has, but that's always the justification of why women are out here doing the things. Well, it's to be liberated, and it's to be free, and it's to be, yeah, but where do we lose being classy? Where do we lose that piece of it? Because I remember growing up, like, yeah, you were a girl, you wanted the guys to look, you wanted, but you left something to the imagination. So like if I have my, I'm a little top heavy, I always have been, you know what I mean? So I always presented myself like, okay, if I'm gonna have some cleavage showing, I'm not gonna have my ass hanging out. And if I got my ass hanging out, I ain't gonna have my cleavage. I'm at least leave something to the imagination. And not that I ever walked around with my ass out, but you know what I mean? Like if I'm wearing Daisy Dukes, I'm also not gonna wear a crop top with my cleavage and my boobs spilling out. It's just you have these girls nowadays, they're literally just walking out with bra and panties, basically. You know what I mean? And
no,
there's nothing
absolutely.
tension. And then, like you said, then you're twerking and you're dancing. And let's not even talk about the surgeries to get the ass to shake and dance with.
We're good there. We're gonna go there, but it sounds like one what we had that these youngins don't have is the balance. Because you
Yes.
mentioned the Queen Latifahs, the Moni Loves, the Salt and Peppers of our generation, the
Mhm.
TLCs. We were back in our time, we wore the baggy clothes, wore the boyish styles, but we were still women, we were still feminine. Again, that sexual liberation, we were able to do that. But also with doing or having sexual liberation, we still maintained, class, for lack of better words. We still had a sense of ourselves in the fact that we didn't show it all, we didn't reveal it all. Again, like you said, we left things to the imagination while still being, sexually, I don't wanna say aggressive, but more liberal with
Mhm.
with our sexuality.
Mhm. Mhm.
BBLs, we're gonna get to that in a minute. Mr. Don, what you got to add?
Shoot, she pretty much covered everything. Good job, Ren.
Girl, you took the
We
words
can go
out of
ahead
your mouth.
we can go ahead and call it a wrap off of just what she said right there.
Okay, well, let me ask
But I
you this,
guess from
because
a man's perspective, both
yes,
as an older man and being out in the clubs and stuff back in the day too, I agree with her. There was women that knew how to be sexy but were still classy. So yes, we had our little Kims, we had our Trinas, we had our Missy Elliott's and Foxy Browns, but even with that, they still had somewhat class about them in a sense, even though yes, we know they was putting their sexuality in the face, but it wasn't like it is now. And what I believe, in a sense, just from my perspective, you ended up having a lot of generations after us of kids having kids.
mhm,
So I think partially the maturity levels are not there because a
mm,
lot of my experience in certain cases, not all, but people tend to be a product of their environment. So if you got, deadbeat, trashy, thuggy daddy and hoochie ratchet mama, and that's all they hang around and that's all they see. In some instances, some of this newer generation, that's what they grew up in. So to them, that's norm. Even though it's not, it's their norm.
Mm.
The other piece of it is, right, if you look at the music industry, even from a male's perspective, there are no more people out there representing something different. Even R&B's gotten trashy.
yeah, because even, yeah, the R&B artists you see when they are performing and singing they songs, they half-ass dressed, got
Right.
on the
Mhm.
leotards, the thongs, they walking around with
Mhm.
everything out.
Yeah. So you see that, and let's just to put my conspiracy label on it, the system in which we all are attached to, that is their agenda. And if you look back at it, even back in the day, any artist that was trying to promote positivity and change and stuff over the course of years started getting less air and playtime than the ones that kept forcing the, yeah, be wild, be out there, sleep with everybody, do Percocets, drink, do this, do that. There's no more balance even in the music.
Mhm.
And so even if you go to Instagram, I just sat back and looked. Now there was a time a brother would be like, "Ooh, dang, look at that." But also I think on a men's perspective, a lot of brothers are starting to become desensitized in a sense too, because if you on social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and like you said, you got more, even not all, but even you see older women in order to get attention or in order for them their sites to get money, attention, whatever it is, people are pretty much damn near naked, damn near. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what you see. I see things that back in my time, if a woman was wearing that, that was Victoria's Secret, and that was usually behind closed doors, and that was for her dude or whatever she was doing. Now that's going to the club material. Like you see people wearing lingerie to the club, or going to the grocery market in their panties and bras and a bonnet with fuzzy slippers and stuff on. So it's like, and people see that as, see, once again, look at black people. That's what they keep perpetuating and putting out there. Because I do know that there's good sisters, educated sisters, hardworking sisters, but let's be real, when it comes to media, what is always going to be put out there first is what gets the most attention, the most controversial topics and conversation. It's always the negative side of things. You think about it, just from your own experience, how many positive videos do you see of brothers and sisters and people trying to come to a resolution and progress as brothers and sisters than you do the negative side where somebody's always fighting, somebody's always shooting, somebody's naked, somebody's ratchet, somebody's thug, somebody's this, somebody's that. You see more of that than you do the opposite.
True.
Oh, and it's like what you're saying, it's like, well, look what they're putting out there. And so, unfortunately, it's also caused a rift between brothers and sisters. There's good women out there and there's good men out there. However, you got good men and good women swimming in a sea full of toxicity.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them to connect or find, if you will, find their tribe of like-minded people. Like you and I was talking earlier, Shonda, where do good men, good women, like-minded people go to connect, go to talk, go to meet one
Mhm.
another without always, okay, here comes somebody twerking or here comes some dude up in there. You know what I'm saying? You 30, 40 years old and you still wearing skinny jeans and your ass hanging out. You know what I'm saying? You still trying to get turned up. Like, come
You
on.
said the fellas are showing ass too.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Fellas are showing ass.
Yes. I've seen plenty of Instagram videos of dudes showing their ass. You got dudes out here wearing dresses and shit now. I mean, come
Shit.
on now.
We ain't
You
done the
got dudes
fellas with
carrying
dresses now.
purses and wearing dresses and sagging with lace drawers on. And you got more dudes acting feminine than masculine.
Yeah. Now hold that thought, dog, because that's gonna be a conversation for another time.
Okay.
But what I wanna ask you this, and be straight up because we do want the male perspective. As far as when you do see women with their asses out, when you do see girls walking around with the Daisy Dukes and they doing all that, are you looking?
I'm gonna be honest, as a dude, yes, as a dude, I'll look, but the
Mhm.
response is different. Back in the day, I
Okay.
would have looked at that and I'd have been like, damn, what's really good? Now I look at that and it's more kind of like a disappointment, like, damn, sister, like,
Mm.
come on now, you ain't gotta do all that to get attention. But
Right.
there's so many different factors. And I think we're dealing with an increasingly strong generation of people with low self-esteem and lack of self-respect.
Okay.
Mhm.
Even as men, I'm just saying, even as men, because I hear, sisters say that. So when we wrap this up and saying showing ass is not just about your appearance. You got a lot of people showing ass in just their character.
Absolutely. Absolutely, people are showing their ass in multiple ways and not just, again, in the physical sense, but
Yeah.
mentally, we showing ass. We out here, yeah, acting a damn fool, and I think the Houston rodeo was a good example of not just showing ass in the physical form, but just the fact that we would carry ourselves to a family function, where the
Mm.
cause is to support children, and we don't even have it in our right mind to dress appropriately. Now, we can be sexy, but you can be sexy in jeans and a nice top and a cute hat and some sunglasses. Now, that's sexy as well. I don't think sexy always has to be revealing. I don't think sexy always has to be, the ass cheeks popping out or just being half naked all the time. Where we've lost our way and we've lost our sense of class. I think we're losing our self dignity and self respect. And it's all for attention at the end of the day. And Don, I think you hit the nail right on the head with it's just a lot of people out here with low self esteem and no respect for self.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like I said, and that goes for men too, because a lot of
Well,
brothers
shit,
out
some
here
of the men
trying to
was out there
be
with their thongs on and their ass out too.
yes, they are. But I mean, a lot of dudes out here showing ass by trying to be something they're not. Like you can't sit up and tell me that every dude out here is thug and gangster and about that life. They're not.
Mm,
A lot of people see the attention it gets and they try to front like they live that life. But I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody that's ever come from a hood or been around a hood, let a real hood dude roll up on somebody perpetrating and you'll see the difference.
mhm.
Because really, if you think about it, hood dudes don't need to advertise. Any gangster you've ever known has he ever need to advertise he was gangster?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So I just think that too. But then what's sad because I don't have kids, but I got nieces, and even just me wanting to buy my nieces clothing is a challenge because the society is so trying to sexualize everything. It's even hard to buy decent clothes for teenagers and young girls without it looking like it's trying to model what older women are wearing. It's like, and that disturbs me because it's like you trying to sexualize teenagers and you even look at the teenagers, it's like and then they wonder why human trafficking is the way it is. And these girls and stuff is getting snatched up, you know?
Mhm.
And it's sad
Yeah.
to me, but it's just like it's a society thing. For whatever reason, everything is over sexualized. And I'm not even gonna put that on black people. It's just that we get the forefront of everything dramatic
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
well,
ghetto.
yeah, right. We're always
But
gonna be the face of that.
right, but if you
Mhm.
look at Instagram and other things, you got Asian women out there trying to twerk and I mean just if you look, a lot of these other races are using rap music in their backgrounds to try to portray play the game. However, the minute some racial go down, do you know which side of the fence they jumping on? Like, oh, we
Mhm.
ain't like that. It's them. But it's
Every
like, but you guys
every
got videos, you got white girls, Asian women, other women. You got rap music in the background. You trying to twerk. You throwing up your two fingers and poking up your lips out, and everybody's taking these. Oh Lord, don't get me started. These Instagram pictures in dirty ass bathrooms and your in
Yeah.
your in bedrooms, and the bed ain't made, and you in the living room, and kids' toys is all on the floor. You always got your lips poked out and your two fingers up. And I am so sick of the gelling your baby hair to your forehead, and you got hair that you can tell ain't yours. You up there got all these different colors in your head looking like a clown. Baby, stop it. And these dudes too. You got dudes out here wearing man pieces and fake lace beards and all this other crazy stuff. Like, come on, bruh. You got you got dudes in they unk stages out here still trying to wear tight clothes and the belly hanging out and you got chains on. Like, stop showing your ass literally and figuratively. Stop.
Don said, "Get
Wow.
rid of the roaches, y'all."
Well,
Because I mean,
Yeah.
for me, and I can't speak for every man, but I've always been attracted to natural beauty. Yes, if you want to wear a little makeup to enhance, fine. But I've always liked the natural sister, natural hair, natural makeup. You ain't, because this is the thing, and it goes for men too. You got men out here getting BBLs and penis extensions, and one brother actually had his legs cut open to make him taller. He paid like $10 to make him go from 5'6" to 6 feet tall.
I saw that
Like, come
story.
on,
I did see
and
that. Yeah.
it's just crazy to me that these days you don't even know what you're dealing with. You can see a dude, but is he a dude? Does he want to be a dude? Does he want to be both? You know what I'm saying? It's like people are confused and people are showing their ass because they don't even know what they want to be. Like for real though, but people ask like we talked about last time with dating. I'm gonna be honest. I'm open to dating, but I'm scared because I'm like I don't know what's going on out there anymore. People are mentally crazy. All this other stuff. Hey, look, as far as I'm concerned, people got demons on them too. I was like, yeah, nah, you need a hair. I need a hair sample finger. Well, did you used to be a dude? I need DNA, man. I need a priest to make sure you ain't carrying no demons. All this
Mm.
other stuff.
He cooked with that, didn't he? Let him cook. What they say, what the young folks say, let him cook.
And I'm sorry, I'm just saying though, it's just sad to me that we live in a day and age where I see why.
You got
I
that good
see
hair.
Mhm.
why a lot of men and women just don't want to be bothered no more. Like they may
Mhm.
actually want to be married and find somebody, but I can see why more men and women are like, I'm good. I'm like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of brothers, say I'm good. I've seen a lot of brothers get shamed because they're choosing other options now. But it's like,
Mm.
okay, but if men and women can choose other options, love is where you find it. So I mean, I've never given up on my black sisters and brothers but let's just be honest, in this day and age, you got to get in where you fit in. So wherever you find love, then do you, because it's crazy
Absolutely.
out here.
But
It is crazy out
let
here.
me ask you this, Dom. We're gonna take it back to this BBL thing. From a man's perspective,
No,
how do you feel about BBL? Is it something you like? Would you like to look at it? When you see
no.
a woman with a nice ass or a woman with what we would assume to be a BB, what does that provoke in you? What feeling does that give you to see that? Do you enjoy it? Do you just like looking at it? Do you look at it? What's your take on BBLs?
I'm gonna give an honest statement, and I mean no disrespect to women because I love my black sisters, but as a man,
He do, y'all.
don't look at me and try to list your preferences about me you do or don't like, because my thing is this, and this goes back to Chris Rock. Don't come at me with fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake eyes, fake nails, fake titties, fake ass, and talking about you want a real man.
Well,
Ladies,
drops mic. Mic drop.
there
Now,
was a mic drop.
everybody has preference. Everybody has preference, to each their own. But to me, again, I like natural beauty. I've been attracted to women that either had a nice body or they had one or the other. But at the end of the day, a BBL is not going to do me any good if I'm trying to build with you and everything I'm trying to build because of a woman's poor character and poor choices. You're tearing down what I'm trying to build for us.
Well, and for me, I would think for people who get BBLs and alter their bodies with surgeries, you have to really look at the risk you're taking with your life.
That's what
Mhm.
I'm saying.
You got to think
That's what I'm
about,
saying.
is this a sound decision? And not only is it a sound decision, but it makes you question how much do you not like yourself in
Mhm.
order
Bam.
to go to that extreme?
Right
Because
there.
to me, that's extreme. BBLs are extreme. Weight loss surgeries are extreme. Breast enhancements are extreme. Where have we lost that self love? And I don't know if you want to blame it on culture, society, if you want to blame it on rap music and how women are portrayed. But as we know, since the beginning of time, women have been at the bottom of the totem pole. We know how men view us, we know how men think of us. And the ironic thing is, when we change and do all these things to ourselves, essentially you're doing it for the attention of a man. Now, I don't care how much you're saying you're doing it to make yourself happy, it's what you need to boost your self esteem. At the end of the day, you're doing these things because you're looking for outward attention.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, I think the self component, self-satisfaction component is there, but I think it's small in comparison to the real intent, which is, let's be honest, you're doing it for outward attention.
Okay. And I agree 100% with what you're saying. Let me add this to it.
Go ahead.
Men are no different. They may not all be doing the BBLs and stuff, but there are men that will go out there and try to look a certain way, be a certain way, try to flex a certain life only for
So,
attention.
get those
So
Drake.
you got a lot of men out there playing a role, but that's all that okay, let me put it like this. You got a lot of men out there too, just with the women that are playing roles, but they have no character,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
no genuine character. Let me put it
No,
like that.
no.
Because I know a lot of sisters that saw a brother, oh, he's this, he's that, oh, he's fine, oh, he does this. Again, the stuff to get the attention. But then when they get with him, dude just ended up being another reason adding on to their trauma
Mhm.
because he was presented a certain way. but he showed his ass once he got the woman, and now once again you got that vicious cycle.
Because we spend too much time trying to build an outward appearance, and we're not spending enough time working on what truly
Mhm.
matters and what really carries you through life, relationships, jobs, is that character building. And I think
Mhm.
we lack that. And in our community, we're not focused enough on building strong, sound-minded, rationale thinking individuals.
Mhm.
Because we're too
Okay.
focused on that outward appearance. We're too focused on hustling ass and hustling fakeness. We're producing fraud over really working and grinding to be better people overall. We're not teaching our children to love themselves. We're not teaching our children to build themselves to be better human beings. We're manufacturing fakeness, fake ass, fake eyelashes, like you said, the fake hair, the fake this, the fake that. And then we want to turn around and ask for something real.
Okay.
I mean,
I got a question for the ladies.
that's
Now,
ab backwards.
yeah, it's you're right. I got a question for both you ladies. Just your perspective.
Go ahead, Don.
Would you say, in a sense, that another part of the problem is that ass has become big business?
Absolutely, ass is big
Oh,
business.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So I ask that because too I see, and I don't know how true it is or not, but when you see enough of those postings where you got woman who does OnlyFans makes 400% more than a dude, you know what I'm saying? It's like some of this stuff again is people doing this not just for attention, but some of them is also using ass for a hustle.
Mhm.
Absolutely, because it's the easy way out. It requires no talent, no skill. There's no there
So then what do we do as brothers and sisters to really as individuals as well as maybe building a community? And I know that's a challenge in itself, but how do we get back to putting being a decent human being and having proper characteristics over being another product of the world we live in where ass is money and it gets attention? Like, how do you really come together and start instilling self-respect and having those discussions and putting that with people to like, hey, oh, we need to do a whole new different type of business. Let's promote being human again and not a package or a product.
Yeah, Renee, Imma let you answer this, but Imma say this. I think it takes a couple of things. I think it starts with, 1, us as the adults by leading by example. 2nd, we've gotta teach our children better. We've gotta teach both boys and little girls to have that self-respect, to have that self-love, and then we gotta take all that and we've gotta put it into action. We've gotta do the counseling to get ourselves individual help, family therapy, and it's gonna take us to stop entertaining and to stop perpetuating the stereotypes. We've gotta stop perpetuating, and we've gotta put the ass up and put it on. We gotta put the ass up. Gotta put the ass up. Sis, Imma let you go. What you say, baby? How we gonna get back from showing our ass back to self-respect? Because when you
Well,
look back in the day, we had ladies like Lena Horne, Felicia
mm,
Rashad, women that you really admired and looked up to, the Dorothy Dandridges, women of that stature and that standard who,
mhm.
were beautiful in their own rights, but
Yeah.
how do we get back to having that type of self-respect and dignity?
Well, if I'm being completely honest, and I listening to Don talk and listening to you talk, it kinda dawned on me that a lot of the downfall of not even just us as a community, but yes, since we're talking about us, we'll keep it with us, is really the internet and social media. And I think that's where the breakdown and everything kinda happened. Like, it's like technology is good until it's not. And what I feel like technology has done, yes, it's created a world that we never imagined, but in that same sense, it's created a world we never imagined. Just think about it. You pick up your phone. Everything that you need is at the literally at your fingertips. You go on an app, you have the dating sites, like even Facebook. You go on Facebook, Facebook dating. You can go on this guy, this everything is right there. It's like there's nobody works for anything. It goes back to like you said, oh, I'll just go get a surgery. I'll just go lay on the table. I'll just go do this and that versus let me get in the gym. Let me put yeah, I might not have the ass that I wanted in the gym, but Now I'm healthy physically, I'm healthy mentally, but I feel like social media has really just given a false sense of what reality is for most people. One, it's given men and women the idea that there's way more options out here for us than there really are. If we're being
And if
honest.
you ain't got the options you think, boo boo. It ain't
You
a
know what I'm
simple swipe left, swipe right.
You but you would think that because you post something, you post a little cute pic, you got your little booty showing or whatever, you got a 200 likes, right? Because you're showing your body and you think those likes equate to options. And
Yeah.
but then like Don said, you post something positive, oh, you're, feeding the homeless or something like that. You might get 25 likes. It's completely different everything. But I think going back to thinking and I think
Hold
that's
on.
why now you
Hold on
have
one second.
the okay.
No,
That's
I want
gonna
you to just
that's gonna be a
And I see these trends, like, it's like I think I even did one. The what did you look like in the 90s or whatever. And I think there's like this great nostalgia of the 90s. And by no means were we perfect back then. We were trying to figure it out too. But I think what was so great about that time and that era, the 90s, the 80s, even the 70s, is like you said, it went back to, and even like Don said, there was a natural beauty, a natural class, a natural sophistication of the women. There was a natural leadership. There was a natural protection by the black men, and we worked together. I know everybody's like, oh, the government, they did. They did have an effect on the black family. I'm not going to deny that happening, but there was still a time where we fought for one another and we stood up for one another and we appreciated one another and we respected each other. I think once technology came and just everything else kind of came in and started telling us how we were supposed to be acting, how we're supposed to be,
how
everybody
we
that's not
value
us.
each
Exactly.
right.
And, I spent quite some time in some of these different groups and forums and all of these things. And I'll be honest with you, I had a very jaded look on how black men really view black women based off of a selected group. I'm not going to mention no names. We're not going to do that. But the way that they acted when it came to like black women and the things that they had to say, not to say that some of their points and talking points weren't logical and didn't have some credit or whatever, but overall, I was like, "Dang, black men really do hate us. Like they cannot stand us." But then I touched some grass. I've done my own personal experiment, and I realized that is a small sector. So like the women shaking their asses out here and what's shown to us and what's portrayed to us is a small sector of a much bigger dynamic is black men actually love us. They
Oh,
do respect us
absolutely.
and they want us to do better and they want us to do good. And because, like us, they see a they see a specific portrayal of what's out here. And so yes, what they see all that, they think that's all. It's not all of us. We're not all doing that. We're not all,
No, and that's what I feel.
buying
I feel like
tickets to Cardi,
right.
shaking
No,
ass
and I feel
at,
like
at
it
the
is
concert, you know what I'm saying? And all of the things.
a
And
small percentage of us that are doing this, but that's what gets the attention. That's what gets seen on social media. That's what gets shared across the world. Because I'm with you. I don't know any sisters that act that way. I don't know the sisters other people hang with, the sisters I hang with. We ain't out here shaking our ass. Now we might go out and dance and have a good time at night, but our first inclination when there's a celebration, a birthday, whatever, is not to bend over and shake our ass in front of folks or to folks or whatever the case may be. We didn't grow up like that. And again, we had the examples
mhm.
we have, but I think with this particular society, we're in a society of comparison where
There
we're
you
seeing
go.
what's happening on
Yeah.
we see the social media models, we see different people
Mm,
doing different things, and now we're comparing ourselves to that. Or not only just comparison, but now we're competing. So we're
mm,
comparing ourselves to these people. Now we gotta compete because now we've gotta do that because we've gotta show that, oh, we can do it better or I can
mm.
do it the best. Me and my team, your ass can't shake like mine. So I think we're right now in a society of comparison and competition.
But we
Mm.
also too had
Mhm.
elders. I wish you would cut up in front of grandma and them shaking your ass and boy, yeah, I wish you would cut up because it would have
Well,
been a
that
lot.
goes
Come
back.
here, come here, come here. Let me talk to you.
Right. But
Yeah.
It's like Renee pointed out earlier though. Now you have the elders that are also out here shaking their ass and
Mhm.
competing because they want that same attention. They want that
Mm.
same notoriety. And then, us raising our children, we are to blame because again, like Renee said, we had a certain level of liberation. And I think with social media and with where the culture is now, they took that shit and they took it
Mm.
way out the park with it. Now it's gotta be the
Hey,
nastiest, the raunchiest, the again, that competition spirit, but not
yeah,
being
I've
used in the
seen
proper
some
manner.
videos that I sat back and was like, wow. I'm not saying I've done enough things in my day, not bragging, but some of these videos that these youngins is putting out, I'm sitting there like, wow, like wait, what? And
Mm.
bragging. And it's them street interviews I'm like, wait, you did what?
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, Shonda, about this one. You didn't see the dude. Now you don't know. Some people could be doing sketches to get attention and stuff. So you gotta sort it through. But again, when I
Yeah,
saw
that
that
shock
video
factor.
of this dude in
Everybody wants to
Miami
believe
walking up
that.
to these two young girls, one light skin, one dark skin, and dude was like, "Hey, what's good, dog?" And they was like, "Well, what's up? What you talking about?" He said, "I'll give you $200 a piece to come back to my hotel." And one friend looked at the other, and she was like, "Well, you down?" And she was like, "Okay." And they were like, "Well, where your hotel at?" And the dude literally said on the video, "Damn, this is actually happening. I'm paying them $200 a piece for some pussy."
Mm,
Yikes.
And I was like,
wow.
wait, hold on now. But again, you see a lot of that stuff out there. These street interviews or these confessions and all this other stuff. You just shake your head like,
Mhm.
what happened? Like, I know everybody and they did done their own little dirt or whatever, but it just seems like now everybody's trying to outdo folks on the dirt. Like, you got people bragging about body count. Like, okay, we all in our own way may have done a little thing, but I'm not gonna get on camera and I'm 21 years old, 22, 23. Yeah, I got 500 bodies on me. Like, I don't been with 500 bodies. You probably need to take your ass to a doctor, boy. Something wrong with you. But you send
Let me ask you this, Don, because some people are argue that none of this matters. That the ass being out doesn't matter, the body count, none of that matters. It's almost like we're in a free for all, and people believe that none of these things really matter when it comes down to relationships, life, well being. They feel like none of this matters. That we're old school, we're being dramatic, or we got to get with the times, or we don't know what we're talking about. Does this really matter? As man in the male perspective, and when you're looking at a woman, does any of this matter
For
to
me,
you?
yes, because I look at it this way, and I heard a brother say this, and then I think I also had heard a woman say it
Mhm.
too. And the statement goes, if you remove sex out of majority of the relationships, you'll find out a lot of these people ain't even on the same page.
Yep.
And that struck me because I had to reflect back in my young and dumb days too. It's like, yeah, you Don, let's be real. From a man's perspective, you really wasn't trying. You was trying to get to know a woman enough for you to get what you wanted. But in terms of a relationship, were some of those women even relationship compatible? No. But on the same token, Don, you weren't even compatible to be in a relationship with some of these women you was messing with. The only thing you really had in common was a good time.
Wow.
Period. But I'm saying it goes for men to have to do the work too. Now I'm not just always gonna put it on women as women. Men need to take accountability and responsibility to do the work too. And there are brothers out there that's doing that. But again, with this younger generation, I saw you see everybody want to be whatever. I'm crashing out. I'm this. I'm YN. I'm like, and that's the sad part. And I'm not saying there's not men out there being fathers to their sons or a mentor or whatever, because there are. You just don't see that because everything else that's being pushed by, I'm going to call it a different name. We say social media, I'm going to call it social engineering. So everything that's being pushed by social engineering
Mm.
will just say, see, this is the problem with black folks. They're just ignorant and low class. Oh, yeah, well, you got white folks and Asian folks out there crashing out too. But again, we always people of color always seem to be on the forefront of what's wrong with America, if you will. But brothers
Mm.
need to do the work too. And it's just like if people really take an honest assessment of self, people really are not trying to get to know not everybody, but enough are really not trying to get to know people anymore. They're just trying to get what they want out of the moment.
Yep.
I agree with that statement. I do. I agree with that statement. And I think we've become a society where it's all about self. Yeah, we want what we want when we want it. And if it ain't good enough or it ain't what we want, we tend to replace it. Which again, tying into what Renee said earlier, why everybody think they have all these options that they don't really have because everything is so replaceable.
Mm.
Everything is so instant come,
True.
instant go. And,
Mhm.
it's just sad. It's just really sad to see where we're at momentarily and eventually what's to come. Just looking at TV and looking at, I'm not gonna call nobody's name out, but just even looking at certain productions on television and to see things go from a beautiful start, a beautiful beginning, something that really uplifted the spirit of blacks to now is just raunch. It's highly sexual. It's fallen right in line with what, as you said, it's societal engineering. It's falling right in those same patterns just as well. So
Yeah.
we got a way to go. I mean, we got a long ways to go. And as far as my brothers and women too, because I think women we control a lot of how these men respond to us.
Mm.
It's what we show them, it's what we present to them, why they treat us the way that we do. And even with the music, the rap music and women ain't shit and bitches is hoes and tricks. And we grew up listening to that too, just as well, but we've gotta start honoring each other in a better light. We've gotta start seeing each other in a better light. We can't continue to perpetuate these stereotypes. We just we've gotta stop it. And with women, and yes, us women, because it is us out here in these short ass shorts, ass hanging out. It don't require ass for everything. Everything is not a ass shaking moment. Just we've got to get back to having that pride,
Yeah,
that
because I'm
self pride.
thinking, even back in my clubbing days, I would have been more turned on by a woman. I'm gonna be honest, like most dudes will still say, but I was more turned on by a woman in a nice, sexy sundress and some heels or some sandals. Somebody coming out in booty shorts and a crop top.
Baby,
I was like,
them
sundresses were
sundresses
sexy and it
do it
left
every
something to the
time now.
imagination. You're like, oh, she looking good in that sundress.
Mm.
Listen. Miss Clayton still got
I'm
some of
just
them
saying, I was just
sundresses now.
thinking about it.
Don't
Miss
hurt him, Miss
Sundress,
Clayton.
Right.
Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him.
listen,
Because
Linda,
I was just
said,
thinking, because
we ain't
even
gotta
back
go
in my
make a
clubbing
baby.
days, and maybe that was I was wrong for that. But if a sister really came out really in revealing stuff, it was more of a red flag to me than it was anything else. And that was wrong on my behalf because she really could have been a down to earth sister, a good person. But when I saw somebody that wore more revealing stuff and was gathering all the attention, to me that was like, nah, I'm good on you. And I'll give you an example. There was this one sister I remember back in the Bernards days, and she was very attractive. She was very
Bernard.
attractive, but she was always wearing like the 357 bodysuits and all this stuff, and everything was clingy, and you can see everything she got on. And I never said nothing to her. One day she pulled me to the side and was like, how come you ain't never tried to talk to me or approach me or ask me to dance? She said, for the longest time I thought you was either stuck up or gay. And I was like, well, since you want to say that, let's
Mm,
have this conversation. I'm neither stuck up nor gay. I said, but from my perspective, you dressing the way you do and you getting the type of attention from dudes that I know that's out here being dirty dick niggas, I'm calling for what it is. That is not attractive to me to see the type of dudes that you were attracting because it made me think you was an easy target. And if that's
mm.
how you rolled, you ain't for me.
Now listen, I done wore a scandalous outfit once or twice in my lifetime,
Well, I'm just saying people do that, but I'm just saying again,
but
it's a perception.
it is. It's perception and it's for that attention. And like I said, we gotta be honest.
Mhm.
I don't care how much self-love, how much you wanna say this is for me, this is for me, this is for me. It's for the attention. Because again, Miss Clayton and wore the outfit with no drawers on, with the slit all up the side of the pants and the shirt. Oh baby, I done been there. But again, it was for that attention. And that's why I said we as women control that narrative. Because see, men are only gonna respond to what we give them. They're only gonna respond to what we're putting out there. So if we're carrying ourselves in that manner and putting ourselves out there in that manner, they're gonna treat us
And
accordingly.
that's pretty
Mm.
much it. But it's again, a man needs to also do his due diligence and say and be honest. Now, everybody has their preference. Okay. Everybody got their preference. I'm just saying, even back in my hanging out quote unquote wild days, I was still very selective about my who and my do. I really was, because I'm just like certain things. If I saw certain dudes paying a woman attention and she was always around them people, I'm good. I'm good because I knew how because of to my
See,
cousins and
but
who they knew, and I knew how a lot of people got down. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't want that drama, you know, because in
But see, you had standards for yourself though. Not a lot of people have
Mhm.
set standards. You know, a lot of people out here
right,
really
and
going
that's
in
what I
the
mean.
wind.
That goes back to we have to come together and change that because a lot of these younger folks don't have direction, and unfortunately, some of them have become so wild that they don't want to listen to anything,
Mhm.
and it's sad.
That's exactly what
Because
it.
even with myself growing up, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things my elders, my mom, my aunts, and them told me I didn't want to hear, but it didn't mean I dismissed it. I didn't mean I
Yeah.
dismissed it. So,
Well, and I think that's it. We had enough sense to listen to our elders. These kids nowadays, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear nothing. You know, whether or not they think they know everything, some of them do. Others of it, I think people just feel like they have, and you do. You have the right to live your life, wear what you want to wear, do what you want to do, baby. I will never take that away from anybody. But at what point, again, do we set some standards for ourselves? At what point do we say, okay, this is too much or this is enough? And sis, Imma ask you, I know you never would, but have you ever considered a BBL or any other type of procedures because you felt like you lacked something or you didn't like
Mhm.
something or you were insecure about something within yourself? Have you ever considered
I
doing that?
absolutely have. Yep. There was a time where I was like, "Ooh, if I had the money to be able to go and just," because I have a little bit of a natural curve, but I always was like, if my butt was a little bit bigger, da 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 da, and it's really only because the attention. If I'm being honest,
Right.
the
But
attention
what kept you
and
from doing it though? Because you haven't done it this far. What kept you from going there and doing that?
well, one, probably if I'm completely honest, obviously the financial aspect of it, but outside of if I had the money, I can't say that I wouldn't have done it. I just For me, I think I started seeing, like, the process that was behind it, the stitches, the draining, the all of that. I never once thought, "Oh, you could die in the process." It was more or less like the healing part, and I'm like, "That's not worth it." Like, just so that I could say I have a big butt, it never was really worth it, but now that I'm seeing, like, so many women that have it, and
mm,
men too. I mean, there's a couple of people up at the Amazon from the back. You like, "Oh, sister got it going." Oh, no, it's not sister, it's sir. He got more ass jiggling than
Then you got back, baby.
like, where the guys is looking, and he turning around, and it's like everybody's like, "Wow, okay." Even me, I'm like, "Oh my
well,
goodness, okay."
that part.
So, I have definitely considered it, and I will say also what probably even prompted me to even consider it was not feeling, going back to your point, not having that self-love, that self-respect, and not recognizing that I was enough based off of someone else's desires, preferences. Because as women, we can be in a relationship, situationship, whatever, with someone who makes us feel
Uh,
Yeah.
and will have you out here going and doing and putting yourself out there like that.
Yeah, because I tell you what, sis, I done been right there with you, and even so much. I don't know how far you went in your journey, but I went as far as scheduling the consultation. I walk in, and it's a bunch of Hispanic women sitting out in the waiting room, and go back and meet with the doctor. And the first thing he tells me is that, hey, what you have naturally is what they all want. All right,
Mm.
doc, cool, but what can we do about this tummy? So I went in for a tummy tuck. And as we're sitting there and he's going over with me, right, the healing process, we're talking about the complications. And baby, that was enough for me to be like, mm-mm. not gonna do this. And before I could even tell him no, he had took me back in the room, marked me all up, showed me what he could do with this and do
Mm.
with that. And I'm sure the look on my face gave me away, but that doctor walked out of that room and he told his assistant, "She's not gonna do it." And I'm like, "Doc, you damn right. I sure the hell ain't. I'm sure the hell ain't." And at that moment, I think I realized that I loved me more than what it was I was looking to get done. I loved me more than suffering through all
Mhm.
this to get a tummy tuck. It wasn't worth it to me. It wasn't worth the going under the anesthesia. It wasn't worth, again, like you said, that healing process and everything you gotta go through, necrosis of the tissues. I mean, it's so many things that could happen, and you really are putting your life on the line when you're going through these procedures. The baby, nah, it was a no for me, but I did. I took myself in there and got that consultation, and that was my first and my last. And baby, listen, I love all of me, flaws and all, baby, all of it. But I will not, and I refuse to put myself on anybody's operating table. Not gonna do it.
But that's the thing, is
Mhm.
really
Not
finding
gonna do it.
that love for yourself. And it's like there's things that we all can improve on. And I'm saying if you do come into finances, I get it. Some people, okay, if you got the money, fix your grill, or do whatever to help in a healthy way.
Right.
But when you start going to extremes and
Mhm.
adding and all it, if it's not promoting better health, then you need to ask yourself why you doing it.
Right.
No, absolutely, and I think people need to, before they even go and seek these procedures out, I think they need to go seek some counseling and talk to somebody, because really what it is at the core of who you are may be stemming from something else, maybe stemming from, as everybody says, the unhealed trauma. It may be something from your past that you haven't dealt with that's causing you to feel this way about yourself. And again, we've all got things that we don't necessarily like about ourselves, or that may not be flattering, but why is it some of us go to that extreme and those of us that
Some
don't?
people really don't have a
Yeah.
hard
And I think
time.
it's different.
Some people, nobody really likes rejection, but some people it's harder than others.
Well, and I think that's where, again, teaching our children how to have self-love, how to deal with rejection, to know that, people are gonna disappoint, people are going to try to cut you down, people are gonna say mean things and evil things, but I think if we really teach that self-love, at the end of the day, no matter what anybody says, it's not
And
gonna
at
matter.
the end of the day, though, when it comes to relationships, to me, that's really what it really boils down to. You want somebody that wants you for you. That's what you really want, because
Because let's be honest.
over time, looks are gonna fade, and it's gonna be real interesting with people with all these implants and all this stuff when they get older. How they gonna be walking around wrinkly and wrinkly with fake boobs and booty? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be looking real weird.
It's gonna be sagging, ass gonna be sagging, and not only that, but as we know, as we age, we tend to get a little more fragile. We don't carry the same weight that we carry in our younger years. Who gonna be carrying around all that heavy
But I
shit on
mean,
that
you
little
can look
skinny
at it
ass
now.
body?
Look at Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. Their booties are sagging. They looking weird.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I don't know, there's some folks out there with BBLs that look decent, and then you got those that, I mean, they're just ridiculous. I mean, it makes no sense to have a stupid, ignorant
Well, and I've
ass.
seen
For what?
again social media.
For what?
You got women with their
I
booties
don't
are not
understand how that
proportionate to their body. They
serves
got
you.
a big booty and skinny legs. They look weird.
What's the song? "And
Yep.
the thighs don't match."
Yeah, and that's what you see. You see a lot of disproportionate, but then same way with dudes. Dudes are getting bicep implants and chest implants and six pack implants and calf implants and all this other stuff. And it's like, why don't you just go to the gym and eat healthy and change? Like so many people want the fast. That's the problem. Everything's so instant.
But you know what, Don? But you know what, Don? Here's the funny part about that, though, that you mentioned the gym and working out and all that. When you get these procedures done, in order to maintain them, you gotta go
Exactly.
work out anyway. In order to keep that shape, right, why
Right.
not just do it
Because
to
that's the
begin with?
thing. And what people don't realize is you can get all the procedures you want to, but if your mindset is still unhealthy, guess what? It's not gonna matter.
It's not gonna
I've
matter.
seen people I've seen
It's
people
not gonna matter.
struggle that have gotten the tummy tucks, but they still haven't changed their appetite.
Yeah,
I've seen that. I've seen people that have, done the body alterations, but then it became an addiction, you know?
yeah. Yeah, and
Right.
they don't stop, and they keep going, and now you've gone from your natural self to what what I
Yeah, and
consider
there's been a lot of
self-mutilation.
like one of the most famous people. I think she ended up dying. That one woman who was so obsessed with turning herself into a real life Barbie and mutilated herself. She ended up passing away because her body couldn't take all them surgeries and stuff anymore. And that just it's just sad to me. But it's like you said, it's like love yourself. Like, yeah, everybody wants to be this perfect version of yourself, but it's like, well, why don't you just work at being the best version of yourself you can be? And the right people will love you. I think so many people want to be loved, or so caught up wanting to be loved by everybody that they're missing the point. You need to be connected to the people who really love you for you, not people who love you for what they think you are, only what they want from you.
Yeah. And that's why I said it's just sad, to see so many women change their bodies in that manner, get these BBLs and again, just lowering ourselves down
Right.
to the value of ass. I hate to see it. I hate to see these young girls do it. I hate to see these mamas and these old women do it because we're so much more than ass. We're so intelligent. We're so colorful and we're so
Yeah.
beautiful and we have so much more to offer. And the fact that again, everything is about putting our ass on the forefront of everything
And
that
that's
we
the
do, it's just disheartening,
it's
and I hate it.
disheartening.
I
And
absolutely hate it.
I mean, again, not all dudes think that way, but for a lot of decent brothers, it's a turnoff. They want a woman with substance, not a woman that's just out there, that's a billboard. They want a substance.
And exactly that. You got these women who go to these extremes, they get these surgeries to have the ass and the features, and yet they're still out here, they're still single. Yes, they may meet a lot of men, they may get a lot of men's attention, but a lot
Yeah.
of men just wanna
Yep.
touch it, hit it, quit it, just so they know what it's like and can say they've tried it, but at the end of the day, are these men really being and sticking with these
They're
women?
not.
Because let's be honest, they're not. And most men, yes, you want a woman that, people look at and think, "Oh, she's beautiful, she's pretty." But most men don't wanna deal with other men constantly
Hmm.
gawking at their women, constantly staring at their women. Most men don't
No,
like that
because
kind
at
of
the end of
attention.
the and I've known brothers that's been in that situation where they have broken up with women and be like, you know what, I got tired of always feeling that I was more of a bodyguard than a boyfriend or whatever. Like I'm always constantly having to deal with dudes being disrespectful and trying to touch and trying to say slicks. There was so much drama associated with that they didn't have the piece of even trying to be in a relationship. And it's kind of the flip side too, like a woman that still likes bad boys. It's like, okay, well, you can't be mad about what you want. If you still want somebody you can't have somebody that's one way and you still want that person to be for the streets. He's either gonna be one or the other. Like, again, with women liking bad boys, like, if you still want a dude that's for the streets or got the street about street, I get it having street sense. But if you still like dudes that got that edge and street to them, you can't be mad that when they start keep choosing the streets over what you want them to be. So that's what I'm saying. It where do you take the time to have the accountability and responsibility to assess yourself and say, you know what, I may be attracted to this may appeal to me, but is it really good for me in the bigger picture of what you want? And so for me,
That part.
I admit, yeah, I used to be shallow, and I thought about it as like, Don, you know a lot of beautiful women, and you've hooked up or hung out with a lot of beautiful women. But at the end of the day, you know what? And this is crazy. This comes from my uncles and them that were pimps and all this other stuff, and they was like, man, hey, like at the end of the day, you better be sure that the woman you marry is gonna be the person that wipe your ass when you get sick, or at least set you up to have the health care for somebody to do it. That's what matters in the end. Cause it's like, man, the cars, the clothes, the sex, all that, eventually all that ain't gonna mean nothing. And at the end, you really want to
That's
know
right.
that if you get sick or something happen to you, is this person really gonna take care of you? That's what matters.
That's what matters.
All right.
Absolutely. All right, baby.
All
I
right.
appreciate y'all so much for being here. I'm gonna ask you for your last and final thoughts on have women really have we really lowered ourselves to being just ass? Give me your final thoughts.
I would say it's a mix. because not all women are about that life. But unfortunately, yes, what is perpetuated and what's being seen is more women, quote unquote, showing ass. But I do know, and there's other men out there, that there are women of worth. The issue is become the dating, or however you want to title it, is become too saturated and polluted with ass.
Yeah. And you hit the nail right on the head. Perception is reality. We're all perceiving people out here showing they ass. And like I said, every time there's a celebration, a
A
graduation,
funeral.
a birthday, anytime we're celebrating anything, what do you see? You see
I've seen
ass.
women with videos twerking at somebody's funeral on a casket.
That's too much. This
For future reference. I'm just saying, it's just like, hey, look, stop. We just stop it. Stop the madness, people. Let me get off. I don't know how I got on this bus, but I'm trying to get off.
But no, I just think it's just sad that, everything requires an
And
ass
it
shape.
doesn't.
It don't matter where we at, it don't matter who around. We just gotta bend over and shake
And
that
that's what I'm
ass.
saying. It's the people don't see the programming. It's like I guess for me, I'm more old school. I'm more turned on by a woman that leaves something to the imagination versus somebody, here's everything right here. Like
Absolutely.
girl, I know where all your tattoos are, your piercings, and they're like, yeah.
This is what women fail to understand. Men love women with a little mystery. And not only do men love women that hold mystery, but you want to know that the woman you're with, there's certain things that you're privy to that not
And
everyone else has been privy to. You don't want to know that everybody out in the world has seen your woman's backside in its full natural state. You want to know that you're the only one that's gotten to see that. You want to know you're the only one that had access to that, and when we behave in the manners in which we do, everybody has access to that. And there's no longer that mystery. There's no longer that intrigue. So you out here shaking your ass for everybody and in front of everybody. What does your man get to have
and
when you
that's
go home
that's
to
the
him?
thing where I'm starting to see videos of dudes posting a lot of reflective stuff where this one dude was like, and you could tell he was genuinely hurt. He was like, when you think you found the one and then your homies come back and show you videos of her sucking somebody else's dick. So you're starting to see
Jeez.
more dudes post of them really getting hurt. Like this one dude that was talking to him, I think it was a street interview or whatever, and the dude said, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? And he said, my girlfriend was pregnant, slept with my homie while she was pregnant with my kid. And because of that action of her sleeping with this other dude, she ended up having a miscarriage. And this all took place when I was at work. So I'm starting to see
Wow.
more and more why dudes are really starting to speak on, like, I'm not trying to dog women, but for y'all want to sit up here and say dudes ain't shit, well, here's one for you.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Men are starting to call women to the carpet, and rightfully so. But we just got to be better individuals on both sides. We really just
Right.
got to stop with the foolishness, the nonsense. We got to stop with the game plan, and people got to get real with themselves so they can
Well,
be real
this
with
is and this
everybody
is
else.
how I'll just use my closing statement. And this goes back to what you were saying with options. See, so many people have got used to playing the games and playing the options game, that there's one thing on both men and women that they're forgetting, that some men or women are really waking up to or have known all the time. The thing about playing the options game is, one, you end up becoming an option to other people, and two, the one option you don't have is time. So
Say that again, baby.
that's it. When you play the options game, you become an option, and the one option you don't have is time. Because for some people, by the time they
Mm,
realize they've wasted life playing games, it's too late. So that's
yeah.
my closing statement. People, keep
Yeah.
your head up, but stop playing games, especially with yourself. All right.
All right, baby. Woo! Donald, thank you. We love you,
Okay.
baby. Appreciate you.
Are we really reducing ourselves down to ask? Look at the end of the day. I'm not here to tell any grown woman what to do with her body or her physical frame. But I am here to tell you that no amount of silicone, no 42-inch bundles, and no viral look can ever replace the value of a woman who knows who she is. If you're a regular sister out here, just working a 9 to 5, raising your babies, and feeling like you're not enough because you don't fit that Instagram mold, baby, I need you to hear me. You are the blueprint. The hustle in your head and the heart in your chest and the person that you are is worth more than any BBL could ever be. Don't let a culture that is chasing a trend make you feel like you've lost your seat at the table. We got to stop dumbing ourselves down for an audience that doesn't even give us the respect that we deserve. It's time we get back to the real. I want to thank my guests for keeping it 100 with me today. And my listeners, keep your heads up, keep your status high, and most importantly, keep that mind sharper than your outfit. Before I get out of here, y'all, healing ain't pretty, but it's powerful. Let's grow through what we go through.